I'm Dr. Elisa Bear. I'm a pediatrician, but you probably know me best as the car seat lady. In April of 2011, the American Academy of Pediatrics published new guidelines regarding keeping children safe in cars. In this short video, I will highlight the key points to these recommendations so you have the most up-to-date information to keep your child as safe as possible. The new recommendations are divided into 5 key transition points, which as you can see here are rear-facing, forward-facing, boosters, shoulder lap belts in the back seat, and lastly, shoulder lap belts in the front seat. The Academy highlights that every step down decreases your child's level of protection, so don't rush to transition to the next step. The biggest change to come from the Academy is the recommendation that kids remain rear-facing until at least 2 years of age, because studies show that older kids, even 2-year-olds, are 5 times safer riding rear-facing than forward-facing. There is almost no chance of a brain or spinal cord injury when your child rides rear-facing. There are 2 types of seats that go rear-facing: infant-only seats, the bucket-type seats that have a carrying handle, and convertible seats, which start out rear-facing and then later change or convert to forward-facing. While many infant-only seats are now going to 30 to 35 pounds, we are not expecting 2-year-olds to ride in infant seats. Rather, they should ride in a convertible seat. To make your toddler happier in the car, sit the car seat more upright, and when possible, remove the vehicle's headrest so the child has the best view possible out the back window. What about their legs, you're probably thinking? Older rear-facing kids will typically sit frog-legged or cross-legged, which is both comfortable and safe. Don't believe me that it's comfortable? Have you ever seen a forward-facing child sleep like this in the car? Ever heard them complain of a stiff neck when they woke up? Your toddler's legs will be comfortable for the same reason this forward-facing child's neck is comfortable, because their joint spaces aren't fully formed, which makes young kids flexible in ways that even the best trained yogi in the world would only dream of. So keep your toddler rear-facing in their convertible seat until at least age 2, but ideally longer, until they are either too tall, which means their head is 1 inch from the top of the seat, or too heavy, which is typically 35 to 40 pounds for most convertible seats. Once they do go forward-facing, keep them in a 5-point harness car seat as long as possible. Use the 5-point harness until they are too tall. Either their shoulders are level with the top shoulder strap slots, or their ears are level with the top of the seat, or they are too heavy, which is typically between 40 to 65 pounds, with a few seats going as high as 85 pounds with the 5-point harness. The brain is the most important part of the body. To keep it safe, remember to always use the tether strap on your forward-facing car seat. Every forward-facing car seat has a tether strap, and it connects the head of the car seat to a designated anchor in the frame of the car. As this photo from an actual crash test shows, the tether typically decreases how far the child's head moves forward in a crash by 6 to 8 inches. This 6 to 8 inches can mean the difference between your child's head hitting something hard, like the back of the front seat or the door frame, and not. Note, the tether is the T in the latch system, but it gets used regardless of whether you are using the vehicle seatbelt or the lower latch strap to secure the car seat to the car. Kids who have outgrown their forward-facing car seats need boosters to keep the vehicle seatbelt properly positioned, low on the strong hip bones and snugly across the chest and collarbone. Kids should use a booster seat until they can pass the 5-step test, which is typically not until age 8 to 12. Step 1. Does the child sit all the way back against the vehicle seat? Step 2. Do the child's knees bend comfortably at the edge of the vehicle seat? Slouching while watching TV on the couch is fine, but slouching in the car is very dangerous, as it brings the lap belt up over the strong hip bones and into the soft, vulnerable abdomen, leading to a pattern of injuries known as seatbelt syndrome. Injuries to the lower spinal cord, intestines, kidneys, liver, bladder, and spleen. Boosters prevent slouching by giving the child a shorter seat pan. Slouching also creates a very large gap between the back of the vehicle seat and the child's back, which makes the seatbelt way too loose for the child's body, which in a crash allows the child's head to move excessively far forward, as you can see in this graphic, comparing the head movement of a child in a booster seat to the head movement of a child slouching. The child slouching moves far enough forward that their head is likely to hit hard structures in the car. Step 3. Is the lap belt as low as possible, touching the thighs? Again, you want the lap belt on the strong hip bones, far away from the soft abdomen. Most boosters have armrests. They are there to prevent the lap belt from sliding up into the abdomen. Step 4. Does the belt cross the shoulder between the neck and the arm? Please note, the shoulder belt rubbing the neck will not injure a child in a crash, but because it is uncomfortable, kids will typically put the belt behind their back or under their arm, both of which are very dangerous, as doing so removes all protection for the head and chest. In this graphic, you can see how far forward the child's head moves when they've placed the belt behind their back or under their arm, compared to the child in a booster seat. And step 5, can the child stay seated like this for the entire trip? If you can say yes to all 5 steps, the child is ready to transition to using the vehicle's shoulder lap belt without the booster. While all new cars are required to have shoulder belts in all positions, many older vehicles still have lap belts in the center of the back seat. Kids in boosters, and older kids and adults in just seat belts, should always use a shoulder belt to provide the best protection for their head and chest. If you have no choice, a lap belt is still much better than no seat belt, so always use it. But the best protection comes from a shoulder and lap belt. The last step and newest recommendation from the Academy is that kids under 13 ride in the back seat. Most crashes with kids happen within 10 minutes of home and on roads with speed limits of 45 miles per hour or less. So letting your 9-year-old ride in the front seat on the way home from school because you aren't going far and you aren't going fast is no excuse. Kids belong in the back seat. Remember, every step down is a decrease in your child's safety. Don't rush them to the next step. Keep them as safe as possible for as long as possible. Visit us online at thecarseatlady.com for lots more information. And please, visit seatcheck.org to find a trained technician in your area to get the installation of your child's car seat checked. With a greater than 95% misuse rate of car seats, even amongst the most well-educated parents, the most important thing you can do for your child is not just use a car seat, but use it properly.